YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back with some more 2019 NFL record predictions. This one is for the Baltimore Ravens. We're going through every single team. We got the AFC East and the NFC East up. Now we're getting going on the AFC North. So I go in depth game by game, but at this point of the video, I like to break down my thoughts on the team. I like the Ravens a lot, even though I lost some key guys. I talked about it during the year last year with our coverage that I really like their depth. They have, they had one of the better depths in terms of defense that I ever saw, and that was a key part of their defense last year, their rotation. So they had the depth. Obviously the depth's going to go away a little bit since they lost some of the stars, but I like the players. Guys like Kenny Young will step up. I like him. They'll be fine at DB. Obviously they got Earl Thomas too, so that's great if he stays healthy. So I think they're solid at defense, though. I think it'll be up there, one of the better defenses. And then in terms of offense, it's really on Lamar Jackson. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan, have been, when he was in college too, in terms of his potential. So I think he'll have his hiccups here and there, but I think he'll be solid. He's a game changer for sure as a quarterback. And then they add Mark Ingram. So I like their running back group. They add Justice Hill to the group too. Which I definitely think is a weapon, especially in the passing game as well, kind of throw off some defenses. And I hated their receiver unit, but now I love it. Marquise Brown and Miles Boykin, I think a great duo for that offense for Lamar Jackson. So I like this team. I think people overreact on who they lost, guys like C.J. Mosley mainly, but I think it's a little overreaction. But again, we'll see how the schedule breaks down here. Right before we get started, 20K is our subscriber goal. We got daily sports content. We specialize in the NFL. We'll also cover the NBA draft. So if you subscribe to the channel, help us out towards our goal. We much appreciate. Clicking that like button, we much appreciate. And there's our Twitter in the bottom right. When these videos come out, I have polls come out asking you guys who you think will win each division. So that goes on our Twitter. Please check that out. But let's get on to the video. I'm using playoffpredictors.com. Link in the description for that. You guys basically can make your picks too. It's a very cool site. Makes my job a whole lot easier for this. Videos come out so much sooner to your guys' liking because of this website. But the Ravens. I did the Dolphins video, and actually I picked the Dolphins in this week 1 game. It was kind of a gut feeling at the time. And last year I did this, I did have some changes as it went on, but not too many. But now that I'm thinking about this, I kind of want to change my pick. I want to pick the Ravens because I think they're the much better team. But I keep going back to week 1 every year I call it mysterious, and I talk about how it just doesn't tell us. It doesn't give us any info on the rest of the season. People act surprised, like this team won in week 1. Looks like they're going to be good. No. So I try to predict some random outcomes, but it's really tough to do because I think the Ravens are a much better team. Dolphins need to fix that O-line, that pass rush, and they have a quarterback situation, which I think could be Rosen. So it could be a little sloppy in week 1. So I'll pick the much better team in the Ravens. In week 2, it's tough to play the Cardinals this early because, it's hard to game plan against a guy like Kyler Murray and a coach like Kingsbury, who people bash him, but he's a heck of an offensive coach. It's going to be hard to game plan against that early when you really don't have any film. You don't know what's coming. So it will be very tough. That's a tough draw to play the Cardinals early, but you are at home, and I think the Ravens will score a ton of points, though. This actually can be a shootout. For as good as the Ravens' defense is, I think this could be a shootout, but I do like the Ravens. That's a tough one, though. Closer than you think. Being in Baltimore is the key there. Ravens versus Chiefs, that battle rematch from last year was a heck of a game. I'll take the Chiefs at home in this one. Another one that really could go either way, but I like the Chiefs at home. The Browns and the Ravens. This will be a good battle. Both these games, really all the AFC North games. I'm kind of feeling the Browns. It's in Baltimore. I'm kind of feeling the Browns in week 4. I think they'll start off. They have. I haven't done the Browns very yet. They could start off good early. They're very young too, so they could have their mess ups here and there. I like the Browns away. Just a gut feeling. Ravens at Steelers. I like the Steelers at home for that one. It's an either way game. It's a good rival game. Just my feeling at this moment. I like the Steelers at home. I think this division, there'll be a battle between, not to rule the Bengals out, but the 3 teams. There'll be some battles here. I do like the Ravens against the Bengals. The Bengals are usually pretty good early in the season, though. It seems like every year, especially last year, they were real good early in the season. So definitely a team to watch out for there and during week 6. And then week 7. At Seattle. That's a good game. I think a very even matchup here. The only thing that's not even, I guess, is Russell Wilson versus Lamar Jackson, but there's definitely more that goes into it than that. I think because it's an even matchup, I think somewhat low scoring. In these types of games, like where it's this close for me, I like to take the better defense, and even though it's not a big gap, I kind of like the Ravens for the matchup purposes in this game. That's going to be a heck of a game, Week 7 in Seattle. Bye week. Then they got the Patriots. I did the Patriots video, and I picked the Ravens in this one. I think the Ravens will run all over this Patriots team. I think you can run on this team. They can be exposed in that category on their defense. So I like the Ravens getting a whole bunch of rushing yards in this one and winning at home. Maybe if it was in New England, maybe I'd pick New England. It's that type of game. In Cincinnati, that's a good game. The Ravens are much better. It depends on what the Bengals are doing. It's still about mid-season. They could be solid. They could be solid at home against the Ravens, kind of like last year too. So I'm going to take the Bengals actually on that one. So 5-4, a little rough. It's kind of just inconsistent. Now you can see that with some young talent there, but I do like this team. I like them over the Texans. Definitely like them over the Texans. I like that matchup for them at home. Monday night in LA, that's tough. Taking the Rams. I really like the home team there on a Monday night. If it was in Baltimore, probably a different story. The home team, especially on those Monday night games when, 90%, maybe more of the time. I like them at home against the Niners. Niners could be, I hate predicting somebody to be beat up, but looking at last year, it's possible. I'm not saying it will happen, but possible they can be beat up in Baltimore. Could be a tough task for them. I actually picked Buffalo in this game, and I'm sticking to that in that Bills video I did, just for matchup purposes. I think they'll slow down the run and force the Ravens to pass downfield, which they have a very good safety, do a very good secondary. I think the linebackers, the young linebackers of the Bills will slow down their read options and RPOs there and enforce that. And they'll already be up in the game. So for matchup reasons, I did like the Bills. I like the Ravens' chances as a better team going forward, though. And I like the Ravens against the Jets. And I like the Ravens against the Browns. I had the Browns beating them in Baltimore, kind of a gut feeling, and I have them swapping here. I don't think anybody's going to 2-0 anybody. I think at this point of the season, I trust the Ravens a little more. Both teams are still very young. I trust the Ravens a little more to get stuff done at this point in the season. I do like them being the Steelers at home. So it ends up being 10-6. It was a little scary in there. I do like this Ravens team, but the way the schedule is laid out, that could get a little scary in mid-season like we had happening there. So kind of going back and looking, ignore the week 18, it tries to predict the playoffs. We'll get to that once I do all the teams. But like I said, week 1's pretty mysterious, could go either way. And really, you don't want to play, like I explained, you don't want to play Kyler Murray in that Kingsbury offense early on, and that early, because you don't really know how to game plan that. So really, these 2 wins, one of those could be losses. They could beat the Chiefs. Pretty much all of these could go either way. So that's kind of tough, but I think I'm about the right range, because some of the games I had them winning, they could really lose. Some of the games I had them losing, they can win. But I like the Ravens team a lot. I was all aboard the Ravens train during the playoffs, and I think they very well could have won that Chargers game. The coaching was great all year, but the game plan wasn't there in that Chargers game, and it kind of picked up when they got so down and they started to come back. So they just didn't have enough trust in Lamar Jackson. It sounded like the fans didn't either. But I honestly thought that for matchup reasons, they were the better team in that game, and the game plans got it right. So I do like this Ravens team now and for the future. So interesting way this played out. 10-6, I'd say bottom line. Well, I get the very bottom line 8, but I don't really see them losing or winning under 9 games. And they could win up to 11 or 12 probably too. So. There's the rundown from the website, 7-5 conference, 1-2 versus winning, 9-4 versus losing, strength of schedule, pretty cool. But we're going through every single team here. We already did the AFC East, the NFC East. We're starting on the AFC North. We're going to go back and forth. So we'll get through these. Plenty more NFL predictions to come. There's some videos on your screen as well right now. And then we have NBA draft coverage we want to do as well. So a lot going on here at the Goat House. A subscription would be much appreciated. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for their support. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.